It is Thursday, July 30th, 2020. Um, don't really know how to start the show today. I have things to talk about, but nothing witty and entertaining to mention in the open. Wait, Demon Sperm! That and more, episode 25, Complaints and Observations.
The greatest podcast hosted by someone who knows so precious little about almost everything. A journey into the mediocre mind of an exceptionally average person. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
Let's fucking go. Woo! Man. That, the open just fires me up every single time. That music, whew, man, that was, publicly licensable music that I purchased. It was a much longer bit, and you're able to like break it up and whatnot, which is how I got the open and the close, and $50 well spent, I must say. It's pretty awesome. Anyways, how's it going? Happy Thursday to my 3 listeners. Hope you guys are doing well. Gals, guys, whoever. Probably guys. Unless you're my wife, you probably have a penis. So, guys works. Yeah, what's going on? Hell of a morning thus far. It is currently, as I'm recording this, 11:15 in the a.m. So, mentioned last couple of shows, I've been feeling kind of lousy. So my wife, she pleaded with me. She said, you should go to the doctor. It's been a while. Basically, the way I'm feeling is I most of the time I felt like I've had a hangover, constant hangover for probably like a week and a half now. So I called the doctor, make an appointment. So I call, hey, want to make a wellness appointment. I'm not feeling well. I'd like to come in and see the doctor. Told her what was going on. She's like, "Oh boy, it sounds like you need a COVID test." I'm like, what? No. So then I said, "Okay, well, are you doing this for everybody that just isn't feeling well?" Well, yeah. I'm like, oh fuck. So she gives me the number for the place. I call up, go through the whole spiel to set up an appointment for this morning. And honestly, it probably took, between being on hold and talking to the woman, who was very nice, very pleasant, I'd say about a half hour on the phone. Set it up for this morning. Drive-through testing. So it was keep your windows up, keep your license on the dashboard, keep your mask on, blah, blah, blah. I was probably there total, maybe 10 minutes. And it wasn't the jam, the Q-tips in the nose. It was a throat swab, almost like a strep test. So painfully simple. But yeah, so can't see the doctor until I actually hear back on this thing. 7 to 10 days for results. Can't say I'm happy with that. 7 to 10 days. And if you don't have it, they just send you an email. If you have it, you get a call. The NBA, the NHL, MLB, they can turn these tests around in like fucking 20 minutes. Regular people, fuck you. You gotta wait a week to find out if you have this fucking horrific virus. But I most likely don't have it based on the conversation I had with the woman yesterday. My symptoms don't really match up with that, but as we've learned with this thing, nobody fucking knows. It's a wild card. Who knows? I don't feel like horrible. So if I do have it, it's a very mild case. If I do have it, well, that fucking blows. It sucks. But what can you do? I don't know where I could have got it from. That's the other problem. Where could I have fucking got it? No clue. But I don't think I have it, so I'm not really overly concerned. Just waiting this out. Go to the doctor, find out what's really going on, if anything, or if I'm just fucking disgustingly fat. So, anywho, in other words, the house we put an offer in on, that came back Tuesday. Good to go. Got the house. Very excited. So we'll be moving the broadcast palace here in a few months. Very excited. My wife is very happy, so I'm very happy. It's a nice house. Looking forward to it. Tons of room, tons of space. Honestly, probably a bit too much room if we want to be blunt, but that's a good thing. It's a good problem to have, too much room, you know? So, looking forward to that. That should be good. Yeah, it really doesn't mean much to you, though, does it? Probably not. Who knows? But yeah, what else is going on? Well, not much. Big weekend, mainly because sports are back. Big sports weekend. And my mother is texting me. What's going on? Oh boy, Ma. Jeez. All right. Well, I love my mother dearly. This is not a bad text. This is good. She loves to complain about the president, so it's very. She calls him numbnuts, which just cracks me up every time she sends it. But yeah, big sports weekend. So hockey and basketball start up. Looking forward to that. The Bruins and the Celtics. You can't ask for much more, you know. When you haven't had sports in this town for 4 months, in those two teams come back and they're doing, they were doing very well, and now they are, the top tier in terms of favorites to win the whole thing. So it'd be great. It honestly, think about it. If you win, I mean, you're excited, obviously, but boy, I've talked about this before. What you can't have a parade. Can't have one. Nor would I expect one. Nor should anybody else, really. But yeah, very interesting how that would be handled. If they did like a fucking a Zoom thing where everyone's in a room and here's all your players talking about shit, that'd be boring as fuck. Like, nobody wants that. Gross. But with the return of sports means the return of gambling, and I talked about this on the last show. I've spent the last few days betting against the Red Sox and doing okay. Although last night they did win, so I lost that bet. But I've been pretty sharp and pretty smart about it. I made a bet last night for Jacob deGrom less than 2.5 runs in the first 5 innings, and he only gave up 2. So that was a win. Good stuff. Although I did bet the Mets to be up after 5 and lost that one, so it was kind of a wash. But looking forward to betting against the Red Sox for the remainder of the season, because they are fucking terrible. And look, they won yesterday, but honestly, it was only because Eovaldi goes out, gives them 5 good innings, only gives up 2 runs. They haven't had that. They've won 2 games so far. Both are Eovaldi starts, and only because he's gone out and given them 5 innings of decent pitching. Or 6 innings in the first game, but who gives a fuck? But that's all he's going to give him. Not going to give him any more than 6. If you get 6 out of the guy, you're doing well. But then the parade of shit comes after that. So for all you gamblers, bet against them, and bet against them heavy. Because if this team wins fucking 25 games, I'll be shocked. Shocked. Because they are fucking bad. What else? I talked about that. Talked about that. Let's get away from sports. I got a text message yesterday from faithful listener Brian. Brian, the amount of content you've provided has been terrific, and I can't thank you enough. The best part about Brian is, the impetus for this show is pettiness. It's just being petty, right? I can be very petty. Brian takes petty and elevates it to a new level. He sends me a picture of the Lowe's parking lot somewhere, and there are 4 vehicles. All 4 vehicles have kayaks on them. And he says in his text, quote, gripe, people who meet in public to go somewhere where they could just meet at the final destination. Was it necessary for a caravan of kayaks to meet at Lowe's this morning before heading to the river? Like, how absurdly petty is that? Oh, it's wonderful. It is honestly so petty. And he's like, I was so annoyed this morning. I had to take a photo and send it to you. Beautiful. Like, honestly, thank you so much, Brian. I love these. And for everybody else, be petty. Be petty with dumb shit that other people are doing because it's glorious. How dare you, kayakers, meet at a central location in order to go to the river before paddling up and down stream. Oh, it was great. I got such a kick out of that. Honestly, I had to tell myself, don't forget to mention Brian's tweet. Because it's so good. Like, imagine thinking while you're at Lowe's, like, what the fuck are these fucking people are taking up 4 fucking parking spaces. There's only 8,000 more parking spaces at this Lowe's, but I wanted one of those 4. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Brian. I had to go to the grocery store yesterday because I was gonna make like a little steak stir fry. I didn't end up making it because I felt like crap, but I'll probably make it tonight. I needed to go to the grocery store pick up some honey. I was out of honey. Needed honey for the recipe. While I'm there, I noticed a gentleman with a shopping cart. In the shopping cart, 8 bottles of Diet Coke, 8 bottles of Diet Dr. Pepper, 10 bags of Utz chips, and it was something else. I can't remember what the other thing was. But we kind of like bumped into each other, and I was like, oh boy, having a big party? Nope, just got to stock up. I'm like, oh boy, all right, well. Bulk shoppers, huh? Kind of odd. Bulk shoppers. I don't understand the need to have 8 or 16 bottles of soda in your home at any one time. I mean, are you preparing for something that you're not sharing with the rest of us? That you need to hoard that kind of material? Like, you can go to the grocery store at any time now. It's not like it was before, where it was a little tricky. A little tricky. I don't know. I just found that a little odd. I don't really know why, but it just kind of struck me as weird. Okay, I wanted to talk about football today. I've made it pretty clear that I really think that this whole thing is going to implode for a number of different reasons. One, I just don't think this is. I don't think it's sustainable. I mean, we've seen what happened with the Marlins and how half the team decided that going to a strip club was the best course of action, and Sure enough, half the team ended up with the Rona. So, but again, the downside of starting a podcast in the middle of a pandemic is there isn't really much else to talk about aside from the actual pandemic, which is boring as fuck. Quite frankly, I hate it, but it is what it is. What can you do? So, with regards to football, all the close quarters, I think you're going to have a lot of people catching it. You had Bruce Arians the other day, the coach for the Buccaneers, saying, "Yeah, my guys are going to get sick. It's just a matter of how badly they're going to get sick." Wow, geez, thanks, coach. Yeah, let's go win one for the Gipper, who doesn't seem to give a fuck about my health. And again, it's football, so it's implied. Anyway, 6 Patriots have opted out for a variety of concerns, most likely associated with the Rona, of course. Marcus Cannon had cancer, so he probably should. Makes perfect sense. Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung, Brandon Bolden, Danny Vitale, Najee Torin. You've heard these names already, blah, 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 blah. But I'll start with Torin because honestly, I think it's awesome. Here's a guy, he was a practice squad guy last year. Would have been competing for a roster spot anyway in a normal year. I mean, the Patriots line has forever been one of these things that is constantly in flux. So guys that are further down the depth chart, 9 times out of 10 end up, serving some sort of role at one point or another. He opts to take the $150,000 payout to stay away from this mess and then come back next year and try again. He's only 24, so it's not like he's an older guy. So plenty of time. He's going to sit out the year. Hopefully takes care of himself so that when next year does roll around, he's ready and can compete. He's taking a pay cut. Of course, I mean, 150. His contract, had he made the team, would have been $675,000. So $500,000 pay cut, basically, if he had earned a roster spot. But he's essentially making about the same as if he spent the entire season on the practice squad anyway. So he stays away, doesn't have to deal with, the pressure of making the club, which sounds stupid, the pressure of making the club. I mean, that's what you're in it for. But won't have to deal with it while he stays home. Honestly, I think it's pretty shrewd. Shrewd move, if you ask me. So good on him. Nicely done. Najee Torin. Never even heard you. I mean, I knew you were on the squad. I seen your name, but that's about it. What can you do? Now, for the others, and I heard this opinion the other day that, something like this was inevitable given the team's penchant for smart, mature, responsible players. And actually, I think that's somewhat accurate. And there's nothing really wrong with that take. But these have to be, I think they have to be looked at individually as opposed to as a whole. Hightower and Chung bailing out are clearly the two biggest. And these guys are just doing it because they don't like the situation, which makes perfect sense. It makes perfect fucking sense. Why on earth would these two guys who have been in the league for years, made good money, won rings, want to deal with all these unknowns? From how the league will handle positive cases to teammates who may or may not agree with how this progresses, or if they're going to get sick / get their family sick. It's okay. I don't begrudge these guys for making these decisions. I really don't. I think as a fan, it kind of sucks because, you like these guys, you like the way they play, they're going to contribute. So it sucks that they're gone. Hightower especially. I mean, he was essentially, as people will say, and you'll hear this many times, the, quote, quarterback of the defense, end quote. Then you have the stupid idiots who are like, oh, now you lost the actual quarterback and the quarterback of the defense. Shut the fuck up. Fucking, it's so stupid. Anyways. But the takes that have really fired me up are those that are saying Belichick has somehow encouraged this to tank for fucking Trevor Lawrence or some other fucking draft pick, or that these guys have left because Tom Brady left. Blah. Get the fuck out of here. Let's start with the first, because that one is the easiest to answer. Bill Belichick will never, ever, ever, let me add another one, ever fucking tank a season. Ever. Ever. At this stage of his career, he has 304 wins total. Regular season, playoffs, 304. He is 43 wins behind Don Shula. And I would imagine his goal is to be the winningest coach of all time. Seems rather reasonable, rational, yeah. He's 68 years old. Can probably coach another 4 to 5 years. So why the fuck would he tank when he could win between 9 and 12 games? No fucking way. Jeff, no fucking way. It literally goes against everything that this guy has said, done over the course of his coaching career. Even when he was in Cleveland and they sucked, he wasn't tanking. Granted, it was a different time, different era. But still, when Brady got hurt and they had to bring in Matt Castle was the fucking backup. Matt fucking Castle, the kid who didn't throw a single pass in fucking college, is somehow an NFL backup. And Belichick wins 11 games with this bum. Didn't make the playoffs in the weirdest fucking twist of irony ever. The only 11-win team, well, I think there's 2 now, but the only 11-win team to not make the playoffs. I mean, he could have tanked that year, yeah. Granted, there, a lot more talent on that team, but still. What was it? Second quarter of the opener against the Chiefs, he gets hurt. Brady gets hurt. He didn't tank. I mean, if there was ever going to be a season to tank, that was the one, right? But he didn't. He won 11 games with a fucking Scribini quarterback. Now, does this mean that they will win 12 games this year? No. But he's not going to go fucking 3-13 just to possibly have the chance to draft a guy. No way. Even if he did tank, which he's not, he would end up trading down, get more picks, and draft a fucking left tackle at 22 or some bullshit. The other take is just as insufferable. That because Tom Brady left, these guys bailed because they won't win a Super Bowl. Really? Really? So what was last season? It was fairly obvious that Brady wasn't all in on the season anyway, and it got progressively more obvious as the season progressed. I just said progress twice in the same sentence. Did they all bail out then? No. Is that why Tennessee beat them in the playoffs, or was it just because they weren't that good? Do these guys not have minds of their own, or do they just blindly follow Tom Brady and do his bidding? Why the fuck did I just ask 6 questions in a row? Fuck. God, I hate when I do that. But look, anyways, fucking stop. Local scribe Tom E. Curran wrote about this yesterday. He was on Dan Patrick afterwards to talk about it. And basically said, well, Dan Patrick asked him, he's like, if Tom Brady was still there, do you think these guys would have opted out? And Tom said no, which it's a fucking stupid answer. One, Marcus Cannon would have opted out regardless. So that's one right off the top. There's your starting right tackle gone. Because again, the kid had fucking cancer. He's not going to stick around and deal with this bullshit. No, see you later. Gone. Now look, could you have had instead of 6, maybe like 4, maybe. It's entirely possible. But I think Hightower and Chung were gone regardless. And it wouldn't surprise me if there were more, because we've got another week or so before. Actually, no, I think it's Monday is the deadline. I think. What's today? Today's the 30th, so I think it's the 3rd. So they got 4 more days. What's today? Thursday. Wow, I am fucking out to lunch today, huh? Whew. But yeah, and he said no, he didn't think that they would opt out, which it's a careless take. Horribly careless, because you don't know. You really don't know. And shortly thereafter, Patrick Chung called him out for it on Twitter. And of course, Tom Curran turtled and offered an apology. And good on Chung, because it's a horrifically dumb take. The sad part is that Curran is not alone. There were guys on the Sports Hub the last couple days saying the same thing. And now I'm certain that there's a segment of Patriots fans who feel the same. So the most obnoxious fan base in sports is going to have this take simply because they can't get over the fact that Tom Brady left, which is a sad and pathetic fact. And I say the most obnoxious fan base in sports, and I'm included in them, but it's a fact. Patriots fans are fucking insufferable. The sad thing is that a lot of them, and I hate saying this because I sound like a fucking crabby old prick, even though I am a crabby old prick. They don't remember how truly, truly awful it was to be a Patriots fan in the 80s. So much so, I wasn't. I grew up a Cowboys fan. I still am a Cowboys fan. I'm a Patriots fan, and I'm a Cowboys fan. It's possible. You can have both. It's okay. It's fine. But, I just happen to be a member of the 2 most insufferable fan bases on the planet. One, we've won constantly, so now we feel that we're entitled to winning all the time. The other is, Cowboys fans, which, good grief. Just terrible. But it's a sad state of affairs. And the way that the NFL is handling this, I don't begrudge them a ton, because I think they sat on their hands for they sat on their hands for too long. But they sat on their hands because they didn't know how this was going to play out. So I can't hate them for it. Although I can hate them for waiting till literally the last minute to come up with an agreement with the Players Association to figure this thing out and how they're going to handle it. Like I mentioned on Monday's show, was that they just didn't know what was going on, and you had 2 teams that were reporting that day. What can you do? You needed to fuck. I am wow. Whew. What the fuck? Jesus. Terrible. Maybe I do have the Rona. Or maybe I'm just... My big thing is my brain is moving way too fast for my mouth. It just can't keep up. It's been like that my whole life. So stuttering, and not stuttering, but stumbling in my speech is a common problem for me. So recording it for the world is a good idea, right? Right? Huh? Fucking dum-dum. Jesus. Now I've lost my place. Oh. Waiting to the last minute to straighten this shit out was a terrible idea. They had plenty of time. They could have taken it slowly. They could have talked to the players and figured it out, mapped it out. Okay, we're going to talk about this week. We're going to talk about this next week. Stupid. Meanwhile, on the flip side, the NHL, who is usually the dumbest of the bunch, had their fucking shit together months ago. Months ago. And now they're going to come back. And honestly, they could of all the games that all the sports that come back, the NHL could be the breast breast presentation, best presentation of the bunch. However, they missed an obvious and just painful opportunity. As my 3 listeners are well aware, I'm a wannabe ad man. And seeing the seat coverings at the 2 NHL stadiums not having advertising on them hurt me deeply. There are 4 league sponsors on center ice. Those 4 league sponsors could have spent more money to be presented on the seat coverings. Or you want to build some PR. I mean, you could have donated that space to charity. You know, you could have had a charitable fund drive. Like the NHL, boy, wow. Fucking A, huh? How does somebody not hire a brilliant marketing mind like myself? If you're in marketing and you have stumbled upon this show accidentally, please let me work for you and make you money, because my head is just swimming in beautiful marketing ideas. The NHL could have started, or they could have used an existing charity that they already have and fucking advertise the fuck out of it. Oh man, is that a missed opportunity, huh? Holy shit. Oh, that is so bad. God, see, now the NHL's stupid. Ooh. Sorry about that. The NHL's stupid. Fuck. I would hope that there's somebody in that building who thought of this and that they just simply decided against it. But it's still a fucking terrible idea. Those are blank canvases and they're just letting them go. Oh, it's a shame. Oh, I'm so fucking angry. God. I need to relax. Good grief. I had another thing I wanted to talk about. Why and how do people get weird as they get older? More of a I don't know. It's a I don't know. I just thought of that the other day as I encountered an acquaintance who, via the social media, has turned into a crazy person. Can't entirely figure out why, but yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. And I immediately thought of that. Because you think about it, people that you know, not for the most part, that's unfair. Time is a weird concept. And time does funny things to a lot of people. Some people can't seem to handle time very well, which sort of ties into change. People can't deal with change very well. Had a conversation about that the other day that was interesting, but what can you do? It's a funny concept, time. It constantly fucks with you. That's the one. Time is a constant. It constantly fucks with you. Yeah. Interesting. I really didn't have much more beyond that. Other than it just something that crossed my mind. So why is it that people get fucking progressively strange as they age? Is it wisdom somehow where their wisdom is warped as they get older? It's where, you obviously know more in your advanced age than you did in your youth. Does it just start to jumble up in your brain? I wonder if that's it. I wonder if you literally can know too much at some point. Some people's brains simply can't handle a vast amount of information as they get older, and they just start to go bananas. Yeah, odd. Very deep thought, huh? Not quite Jack Handy deep, but yeah, actually, not deep at all. What am I saying? This is definitely a short episode. I was not nearly as prepared today as I was on Monday. Monday, I was feeling okay, ramping through it, going boom, boom, boom. Had a great script. Everything was fantastic. I outlined the football take today, and I think I did pretty well. I really didn't want to talk about football, but then when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I kind of do. Kind of, I don't want to make this a entirely sports-centric podcast. Just sort of ends up that way, as I've said before. I don't know too much. I like to think that I know sports a little bit, at least enough to talk about it. Again, as I say every week, I really hope that, all of this shit fucking clears up and passes and we can turn this into some semblance of conversations between people as opposed to just me yapping into a microphone for a half hour a couple times a week. Just boring. Horribly boring. Mainly because I think I'm much more entertaining and witty when I have someone to bounce things off of and can tell people how dumb they are. Because I think I'm much smarter than I actually am. But yeah. But again, as usual, please, I invite you to provide content to the program in a variety of different ways. One, the Twitter page @ComplaintsPod. Instagram, Complaints and Observations Pod. The website, complaintsandobservations.com. The email address, showmail@complaintsandobservations.com. Well, it's too long. Fuck off. Learn to type. Problem solved. If you have my phone number, you can send me a text message. You can give me a call if you want. I'll talk on the phone. I have zero qualms about phone conversations. Some people don't like doing it. I don't mind. Don't mind at all. If you happen to be in marketing and are hiring, let me know. Give me a call. What else? Well, that's it. Yeah. Listen. Enjoy your weekend. Don't do anything stupid. But yeah, that's it. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta-ta.
I am without speech. I am speechless.